Welcome to this mini-series called Understanding Psychic Violence. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, watch them before. You should understand by now that psychic violence is the common violence, and that physical violence and also verbal violence is just an outworking of psychic violence. So all violence has a psychic root, which is in the paranormal. That's why when dealing with violence, you ought to deal with the paranormal root. And that's something most of us were never taught. Most of us were taught that we need to take karate lessons or other martial arts in order to physically defend ourselves if a perpetrator would appear. Others were told that it's their own fault they were assaulted and they just have to take it. Well, that also happens. But often such people won't take it, they will seek for help. Some, not all of them. But others were taught, well, you just need to keep avoiding at all costs. And avoidance works. Avoiding bad situations, I recommend that. But there are times violence just haunts you. It happens. And what if you can't leave? So there are also people that say, well, you just need to pray in order to endure it. Look, violence, when we talk about the physical manifestation in knife attacks, gun violence, also rape, I consider also under violence, whether it's rape towards children, between men, or from men upon women, or women on men, or women between women. Well, all variants of rape have a paranormal origin. All violence have their origin in the psychic realm. So there is no such thing as dealing with violence without dealing with the paranormal root of violence. But in the secular world, they have this idea that the psychic world does not exist, that the paranormal is not real. So they're only shifting the physical manifestations. And those policies often work, but only temporarily, and while they're working, they have a lot of side effects. And those side effects breed new violence. So when violence, you need to uproot the paranormal root of violence. You need to uproot it. Once you uproot it, well, little by little the manifestations will fade away. Because let me tell you, some of you have a spirit of victimization on you that was enforced on you by your parents. Well, some of you don't want to hear this. Well, your parents may not have known better in how they brought you up. They really may not have known better. That does not cancel out the effect they had upon you spiritually. There are those of you who are listening to this, you have a spirit of victimization upon you. And how does this operate? That is a demon that attaches itself to your energy field. And that demon understands how the psychic world operates. So that wound that's caused by your parents, maybe not directly by your parents, but by your relatives, especially if you're from a background where there was a lot of contention and fights in the family, that demon is telling all other demons to draw all the bad energy towards him. Because, as you know, demons feed off negative energy. So this victimization demon, let's say you were a kid in kindergarten, this victimization demon told the other demons, hey, give me all that waste energy, man, give it to me. And all the demons were thinking, alright, so those demons caused those other kids to bully you and to treat you badly. And the demon fed off that negative energy. It never went so far that you were killed, but that demon attracted violence to you in order to suck the energy of the perpetrators against you. Now don't get me wrong, those perpetrators are guilty. They're wrong for what they've contributed. But you need to look at it in the spirit. And let's say that you had someone assaulting you and now he's behind jail. Okay, that's a physical manifestation that's been dealt with. But that victimization demon is still there. So 5 or maybe 6 years later, someone else will assault you. That's why you have people that seem to attract bad luck wherever they are. And they're not believers. It's not because they're doing God's will, they're persecuted. They just attract bad things to them. Why? Because there's a victimization demon attached to them. And don't get things twisted. All those other people that contribute to it are also guilty, because it's their waste energy that victimization demon is after. And those other demons around are assisting that victimization demon in getting that waste energy. And it's those people acting it out and maintaining that waste energy that feeds that victimization demon. So just because the demons are behind it doesn't cancel out human responsibility. So what do you have to do then? You need to be delivered from that victimization demon. And look, you didn't know you had a victimization demon. All that violence against you and all those negative words against you has harmed you, and you develop coping mechanisms, and because of that you have developed unhealthy thinking patterns. So now you need to unlearn those unhealthy thinking patterns, and you need to agree with Christ. You need to be delivered in your thinking so that that demon won't have no access anymore. Why? Because if you go to a deliverance ministry and they force a demon away, good, the demon has been forced away, but hold on a minute. Even if the demon is forced away, you still are left with those unhealthy thinking patterns. And listen to this. People that have developed a negative attitude towards you, they're addicted to that negative attitude. So they themselves now, even if the demon is not around, the people themselves will look for an excuse to go against you. So you're still left with the human counterpart. So that's why just going to the deliverance ministry to have an exorcism isn't the solution. You need to be delivered. And that's why you need to learn to operate in a supernatural to overcome all those dark clouds that are generating around you. You need to learn how to dissolve them in faith, by operating in the supernatural. That victimization demon is cast out, but nevertheless, the negative energy of all the people around also needs to be dealt with. And those people need to stop complying with negativity towards you. And worldly people most of the time will only stop when consequences hit them. So are you now going to take vengeance in your own hands? Are you now going to pay evil with evil? No, you're not doing that. You're operating in a supernatural to dissolve all those dark clouds, all those psychic attacks come your way. The demon may be cast out, but the people have invested in that demon. They don't know there was a demon around, but nevertheless they have invested against you. They have built up a pride, their self-esteem against you. So they need you to be in a bad state for them to feel good about themselves, so that they won't have to admit that what they're doing is wrong. So they're going to fight to defend their choice against you, to defend their free will against you, to defend their opinions against you. So those people need to be dealt with. Don't just put it all on the demons. If you know the demons caused it and work through them, they're still have their investment in it. So now you understand about victimization demons. That's why you need to be careful who you agree with. If a guy was just arrested for shoplifting and he's Afro-American, don't begin to condemn the guy saying, well, he just needs to get a job and all of that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Have you looked in the spirit to see what is going on? How are you not sure that there may be a paranormal operation active here? And by you agreeing against that shoplifter, you are contributing to that spell. So you become a stakeholder in darkness. A lot of people take pride in having their own opinion, their own views. Hold on a minute. It doesn't matter what your views are. If they're not in line with Christ, you are feeding the paranormal. And people that often defend their views, they get involved in paranormal activity. They become stakeholders in psychic attacks. They don't have to be aware of it. They are a stakeholder in it. Look, about me, I've encountered psychic violence a lot. I did. I've seen others being affected by psychic violence. And let me tell you, psychic violence goes far deeper than you think. Psychic violence can cause you to lose your job. Psychic violence can cause you to become homeless. Psychic violence can cause you to have heart attacks, can cause you to have all kinds of malfunctioning in your body. It can be you're driving a car and suddenly you have these attacks on your energy field and you become disorientated and you crash with your car or you crash into someone else dies. Psychic attacks, they are common, and psychic violence is a very serious thing. The reason why you have some people who never face violence whatsoever, listen to what I'm saying, if you have someone who is never affected by violence, it's because it can either be that they are a believer, they're operating in the supernatural and they're very powerful in it, or if they're just children, it can be that their parents are operating deeply in the supernatural, that they're completely in agreement with Christ, and that's why the children are so safe. That could be a positive explanation. It could also be that they have someone praying on their behalf that hinders all of that. That can also be it. But in the world, most of the time when you have people who don't encounter violence whatsoever, it's because they are part of a demonic stronghold. Whether they're a member of a cult, or maybe they themselves are going to witch doctors to pay for charms. And because they have a charm on them, when a victimization demon comes by and says, give me that waste energy, man, give me that waste energy, because victimization demons are like junks, they want to be fed. What happens then? Let's say that you have a young woman, let's call her Anna or Annie. Let's say that Annie is practicing what they call white magic, good witchcraft, so-called good witchcraft at home. And she is now enforcing a charm on herself against negative energy, against negative thoughts of other people. What's happening? Because she's doing that, the demons are pleased because she's operating in the paranormal. She's promoting witchcraft without her being aware of it. She thinks it's good witchcraft. She doesn't realize that it's all bad. So what is happening then? When a victimization demon comes by and is craving all that energy, other demons are telling him, dude, shut up, you don't get any energy today. The demon thinks, come on now, I always get the kick out of it. The demons tell her, hey, she's a stakeholder of Satan. You see her, she's practicing so-called white magic. Then the victimization demon thinks, okay, I understand it. And that's why Annie is left alone. Even though there are people that can't stand Annie goes through life without any trouble. She goes through her job. She's relieved. Now, that doesn't mean she's delivered. She still has mental issues and emotional problems, but she's at ease. When she wants to arrange something, it happens. And people look at Annie's life and they think, how come this girl has it so easy? But people don't look behind the scenes. She is being relieved by the demons because the demons are using her influence to deceive others. Why? Because when other young women or other girls see Annie and they see that Annie is a successful businesswoman, she has her own company and she works part-time as a sociologist. She's wearing makeup, high heels, she has what they call sex appeal in the world. She's very attractive. When other girls see that, they feel intimidated and they think they want to be like Annie. And demons are using this to distract those young girls. But why? Because Annie is practicing white magic, or she's practicing witchcraft. And that's how demons are using Annie to draw more women into witchcraft. That's why Annie is relieved. Not because she's blessed and not because people are praying on her behalf. It's because she's being used as a tool by demons. So don't look at how easy someone's existence is and judge whether they're blessed or not. Because in the world, I'm not talking among believers, in the world, when you are relieved, it's because you are in some pact. Because listen, anytime you begin to practice white magic or any of those things, it's the same as entering a pact. You have not signed your name in blood, you've not made some oral vow to some spiritual entity. No, you don't have to do any of that. The moment you're involved with such stuff, whether it's using a Ouija board or whatever, you already enter into a pact. But most people don't understand this. They think, well, use the Ouija board or using white magic, lighting candles to some saint, those things are just for decoration. Well, people use it as decoration. But the decoration is still activating stuff that you really don't want to be activated. But because you don't know what you activated, you think is innocent. And because what is activated is working on your behalf, giving you relief, you think it's a good thing. You don't look at the bigger picture. Look, psychic violence is a very serious thing. There are even women who were pregnant and their babies were born deformed as a consequence of psychic violence. Hey, I mean this. I mean, in the Caribbean and also in Africa, of course in more places, of those places I know, psychic violence is acknowledged. People know it exists. But due to Western society being dominant, people on television, in the media pretend it doesn't exist, but people know it exists. And people even consider when bad stuff are happening, whether it's a consequence of psychic violence. Now there are societies that are so deep into secularism, they don't even consider that. They look for everything in the natural, in the physical. And that's why they are deceived. And there's another thing you need to understand. Most of the people that partake in psychic violence, they are not warlocks, they're not witches, not wizards. Many don't even know anything about the occult. They're just people that hold on to self-validation and they're frustrated and their frustration is leaking out. And collectively, when they are together with people who agree with them, their agreement together is generating all those bad clouds. So most of the psychic violence and all the damage that comes from it are not perpetrated by people who are into the occult. Those are done by regular people out there. I'm not saying that people in the occult are not involved in psychic violence, but you need to understand the following. There are people that join the occult to have protection against psychic violence. That's why demons invented this thing called white magic. Because many of the people that practice white magic, they have no intention of harming other people. They just want some spiritual aid for themselves. So demons came with this toy called white magic. And it's a toy that helps you. But this is not a toy you receive to enjoy. It's a toy that will destroy you after a while. A lot of people get involved in sects, cults, small witching religions, all of that, because they want answers. They are drawn in because they want protection. But let me tell you, the true protection and the true security is only in Christ himself. Outside of him, you have counterfeit securities, and most of them are null movements. I've already spoken about null movements. Just type in null movement N-U-L-L, and then movement, and then search for it. So that's what I want to say now. Agree in Christ and be at peace.